Hey everyone, welcome back. I have Michael Bell with me, and as soon as he opens his mouth, you're going to recognize his voice because of the hundreds of characters that you've voiced and all the stuff that you've been on screen as well. Um, so, welcome, Michael. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much. It's really a pleasure.
The and that's the one I don't recognize.
You know,
But you, the one that I recognize the most, and actually when you spoke to me yesterday,
Yes,
I heard
right.
it come
Yeah.
right out.
Yeah.
Which was Lance from
Lance,
Voltron.
Yeah. From Voltron, yeah.
And then as I was doing research, I realized that's Sven also.
Well, Sven was, he has this sound over here, you know, because he's Sven, he has to sound like this, right? Yeah.
Right. So he has the accent and everything
Yes,
else.
I had the Swedish accent, yeah.
But what happened? Because Lance, this is Sven, is the black suit.
Right.
He was the Blue Line driver. And then Lance replaced him after Sven got captured.
Well, you know, Sven was the good side of Lance.
Right. He seemed
Lance
more.
was tough, and he was sort of a smarty cat, and he was out there, and he sort of emerged from Sven, as it were. And there's a propensity for producers to kill me off on shows. I think they killed me as Prowl in Transformers. They tried to kill me as Duke in the movie of G.I. Joe, and they
Right.
managed to kill me as Sven. But then there's a group, surprisingly enough, there's a group out there called Sven Comes Back or something, or
Right.
whatever, and they gave me a T-shirt.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like Lance, Sven is the more sturdy one. Lance, though, I have to say, the character is more vulnerable. He's got the kind of the arrogance
Yeah, he's
of
arrogant.
youth,
He's a bad guy. He's a good kid, but
He
he's
means well.
he's the rascal. You know, he's the one that everybody kind of likes and moves into. Yeah.
so I appreciate him a little bit more than the other characters because he could get a little down and dirty and
Well,
take care
yeah,
of it.
he didn't have his stick up his butt. You know, the others did.
Yeah, he was a little casual about it.
Yeah,
he
very
knew where he
casual.
was in the world.
Yeah.
And then Duke, you talked about G.I. Joe and Duke and Transformers. Duke is a huge, like, he was the leader. He was the boss.
He was the major guy. Yeah. In fact, did you ever see Community, the comedy show Community?
I know exactly what you're talking about. The G.I. Joe, the comic, the cartoon episode.
The cartoon episode
where it
of
was
the-
his internal dialogue.
Right, it was an internal dialogue. The guy who's in a coma, and it's Duke, and so they called my agent because they weren't sure that I still had that voice. They
Wow.
called my agent. They said, "We'd like to have Michael Bell do the role of Duke for this animated thing within the sitcom. Can we talk to him so we know it sounds like him?" So she said, "Sure."
Right.
So she called me and she said, "Michael, the producer's going to call your director and he's going to want to know if it's." I said, "Would you answer the phone?" I said, "Sure." So I waited and the phone rang and I went, "Hello?" And there was this guy said, "Yeah, can I speak to Michael Bell?" I went, "Oh, sure, Dad." And I got on the phone. I went, "Hello?" And there
That's all just blown out.
And then there was this silence. I went, "Who is this?" And he said, "This is," and he gave me the name, and he said, "I'm looking for Michael Bell." "Yes, me." And he said, "Who played Duke?" I said, "Yeah, what do you want?" And there was this silence. I said, "Okay, guys, I'm just playing."
Right, yeah. He's like,
Okay.
I'm a voice actor. This is what I do. Come on,
It's
did you
what I
not?
do. Yeah, yes. So I said, "Okay, knowing is half the battle." Yo, Joe, are we good? And when we're good, I called the agent and wound up doing it. It was funny.
It was exciting to hear your voice in that because I think when that episode first starts, the first time that I saw it at least, it was one of those things where I was like, are they actually doing this? Like, is this legit? And then your voice comes in and I'm like, holy crap, this is legit.
I think they used Mary McDonald Lewis. Only they had her play Scarlett as
Right.
opposed to B.J. Ward, who was Scarlett, who said, "Why didn't they call me?" It's the business.
Yeah. Sometimes the producers just don't even. Sometimes they just don't even know who to
Yeah.
call all the time.
Yeah.
So also we one that's really relevant to our friends on Twitch, something that a huge part of your story career. There's a lot of video game stuff, and
Yeah.
obviously that's been a huge change in the industry. There's a
Yeah.
ton of video game work that's
Yeah.
coming up. You play Medivh.
Medivh in World of
Hearthstone.
Warcraft, yeah. And then after that, I did Cthulhu in Homestorm.
Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm.
Yes.
Yeah, and then another character recently with a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling,
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
think-
leaving a lung on the window.
I had the great fortune of working at Blizzard for a little while, and
Oh,
I know
did you?
that all of our friends there are
yeah, Toya?
super huge fans
Yeah.
of all the '80s animation and your work.
Yeah,
and-
it's great. It was great. That was great fun. I got to do a lot of characters beside Medivh. Got to play a lot of characters. Great fun.
Yeah, he's really cocky, kind of, very arrogant,
And it
like
was-
I know
yeah.
everything type
Yeah.
of fella.
Yeah. It's fun. It's great. I like that.
How was the work in the studio there, working with the Blizzard team? and
Nice.
video game work?
Everybody was super. And now, of course, we do it over at one of the smaller studios out in the valley because they're still continuing doing. It's not World of Warcraft, but it is World of Warcraft, I guess.
Right.
I don't play the games, so I don't really know.
Well, I think what I'm referring to is Hearthstone. It's an offshoot. It's a game that's a part of
It's
the
a
lore.
card game or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they compete with which cards they draw and there's
Right.
actions they can take. But there's a lot of story involved, and so Medivh, all your lines that you've read and everything else,
Yes, right.
it brings them through the kind of the adventure of getting to know who
Yeah.
Medivh is.
Yeah.
So and then, but here's something that I did not know before I got to research a little bit. You are an environmentalist
Yes.
and focus on animal rights.
Yes.
And also, and this kind of blew me away. Not only is he talented, he's very smart. You've invented a gray water device that helps people kind of.
Long time ago, when I was doing Rugrats, and Melanie Chardoff, who played my wife Minka on the show, she kept saying, "Why is it I turn the faucet on and all the water goes down before it turns hot, and I go in the shower and a lot of cold water comes out before it's all wasted." So we came up with a concept. Took us about a half a year. We came up with a gray water device that would take the water and send it off to a tank, and then filter it and then send it out. And we put a nice amount of money into the investment and went through the state of California. And the state of California Plumbers Association didn't like the idea.
Of course not. Yeah.
That's not a very good idea.
Yeah.
And I said, well, it stops people from just sending the water out to their garden. It will go to the garden, but at least it'll be refreshed and it'll be recycled. And they said, no, we don't like the idea. What if somebody pees in the shower? And I said, yes, so it goes through recycling, and it goes through pebbles and all kinds of stuff and charcoal, and it comes out as something. Yeah, what if a woman? I said, look, I don't want to get into this, guys. It's quite simple. So let's just talk about maybe the sink if you don't want to do the
Right.
shower. And they say, no, well, people spit in their sink, and they went, you're going to make this really difficult. But we tried and tried and tried, and we went through the thing. And then eventually, gray water became really the thing. Now they don't care. Now then you go straight from the shower and go straight to the garden. And
Well,
goes to the garden.
you were obviously just well ahead of the curve, and that was
Way ahead of the
before gray water became a thing for people who were living off the grid or people who were very environmentally minded and looking to have a more green setup for their water
And during the
supply.
summer in California, when you've got 100 degrees, 105 degrees outside, 90 to 105, people taking showers every 12 minutes that are staying home when they come home from work and take a long shower, send that water out to your garden. Or
Right.
if you don't have a garden, send it out to some communal area where the water can be used again.
Yeah, it's a huge.
After all,
advancement.
there is black water,
Right, and that's the really. So if you're not aware of the way that works, you should check it out. If you are environmentally minded, gray water is the how would you
Water
describe
that's
it?
already come out of the faucet.
Right, so
already out of the faucet.
it's left. Maybe it's picked up some stuff from the sink, maybe on your
Whatever,
skin or something.
whatever it is, yes.
And then black is when it's actually
Flushed.
tainted. It's like flushed in
when
the
it's been
toilet
flushed.
or.
And there are communities that are drinking black water because they do refresh it. They go and they say it's just as good as fresh water. I said, sure. I really want to drink my neighbor's poop. That's what I want.
Yeah, that's what they. So people take it to different lengths.
Yeah.
It's
That's
the moral
okay
of
with
that
the,
story.
That was okay with the plumbers.
So going back to voice acting though, like how do
Yeah.
you're very expressive. You obviously enjoy the art of voice acting. You do it all the time.
Yeah.
I've seen other interviews with you. It's hard to almost get you to speak in the normal voice.
Yes,
As your producer's experience, how do you remember a voice? Like when you develop a voice and you feel like you've got the character in mind and set up, how do you remember the kind of the cues, the inflection, the modalities?
Well, they often will play back. They'll give you a sample of what you did. I remember doing the Smurfs, and Jonathan Winters was with us, and he played not Grandpa Smurf, he was great Grandpa Smurf, not Papa Smurf, Grandpa Smurf, and he came in and he just, Jonathan did not have an unexpressed thought, and so he would talk a lot, and then he'd do his character and talk a lot and do his character. The next time he came back, the following week that he came back, he started as Grandpa, and then Gordon Hunt, late Gordon Hunt, wonderful director, said, John, that's not the voice. And he said, okay, is this one over here? And he said, no, John, that's not. He said, well, what about over here? Is it over here? He said, no, John, that's not it. He said, is it up here? He said, no, John. I said, John, you're suffering from Voiceheimers.
all right.
Play it for him. We're going to be here all day. And it happens, But if you're doing a set character that you've been doing for a long time,
Sure.
you're okay.
You're on like episode 100.
You're
You're
fine.
feeling it.
But if it's a character that you're not sure of. You'd say, could you play that back for me? Especially in auditions. And you get it, and you go, okay, I don't know what I did.
Right. What was the thing that impressed them
What
in the
was
audition?
it that got
Yeah.
everybody excited?
True.
Then you find out it wasn't you. That's not me.
Where, what characters? Okay, this is the question. This is what I'm trying to
Yeah.
verbalize. What was the weirdest place that you were recognized by voice? Like you were doing something and like there was, that awkward where's the weirdest place that's ever happened?
It was an obscene phone call. No. Let me think.
I feel like that would be very hard for you to pull off. Like,
Yes,
when somebody
I
say,
beg
I
your
know that
pardon.
voice.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I said, excuse me, what are you doing? What are you wearing? Is this Michael Bell? No.
No, click. Yeah.
Click, buzz. I don't know if I've ever run into that situation where it was weird. I don't think I ever have. I used to do, for the people that are old enough, I used to do a voice for Parquet for butter.
Okay.
I used to go, butter, Parquet.
I remember those commercials.
For years. Did that for years. And that's one of the few that people might say, aren't you the voice of butter? Yeah.
It's just a widespread audience. So,
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Well, we're kind of getting close to the wrap up. How do we reach you on social media and
michaelbellvoices.com, which is simple. And let me tell everybody, if they get an opportunity, I'd love them to tune into iTunes or Starz, S-T-A-R-Z, which is a cable show, to see my daughter's film. My
what film
daughter
was that?
She's a marvelous actress, and years ago she starred in a thing called The Last Exorcism, and then she did The Day, and she's done other films. But she directed, produced, and wrote a film called Love and Bananas, and it's a documentary about the rescue of a 70-year-old partially blind elephant
Wow.
from a trekking camp in Thailand, and her 500-mile journey to a sanctuary and freedom, who suddenly learns to become an elephant after years of being in chains. It's a gorgeous film.
Oh, that's amazing. Love and Bananas
Love
on
and Bananas.
Stars and
On Stars and iTunes.
and
If they go to
iTunes.
loveandbananas.com,
What's your daughter's name, by the way?
Ashley Bell.
Ashley Bell.
If they go to loveandbananas.com, they'll see the trailer and they'll make a decision. It's just a gorgeous film.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time,
my
Michael.
pleasure.
It's been a
Hey.
pleasure to meet you.
Good to meet
Thank
you.
you for bringing all those
Thank you.
characters to life.
And have everybody come down here. Come to our booth. Okay, Westgate.
Come down to ToyCon. You can visit with Michael himself.
Sure.
Get an
and,
autograph.
and Goofy's here.
Hey, Goofy, we have a ton of Disney folks.
Yeah, Disney folks are
and,
here.
and folks from all over the industry.
Transformer folks and on-camera folks. Yeah.
It's a good time. It's a good time. So thanks for watching. We'll be right back in a moment
Yeah.
with some folks in horror special effects.